Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Iqbal, welcome to Museroom Unscripted.
Okay.
Okay, this is episode 5. So, how has 2020 been for you leading up to 2021, like the first quarter?
In a nutshell, it felt like Livescape was on a rocket jet, and we spent the last 4 years filling up the fuel, getting the team, knowing our direction, knowing where we were going to go, and like Elon Musk's spacecraft, right? We launched and it blew up. Yeah, you know. So 2020 was really hard. I mean, I'm sure it's tough for a lot of businesses, but for what was predominantly an event company, it was very, very hard to take. Yeah, so it literally blew up within the span of maybe 1-2 weeks. Yeah, it blew up. The whole thing blew up. Yeah. So how for me as the pilot of that thing, I was left with the denial that this was happening, and continued to try and keep pushing the spaceship outwards lah.
Were you challenged in any way, like to the fact where, you know, event is such an outdoor thing, and when the virus hits, it's like, it's literally like, you know, it's a boat sinking. So were you challenged in any way that, you know, were you like trying to push Livescape to another direction, or would you want to try something new at Livescape?
So at the first state, it's almost like grief, you know. So the first state was denial, because we spent the past 10 years building an events company, and along the way we made many mistakes, you know, but we learned a lot from it. And the most important thing in Livescape is that we learn, right, and we don't try to do the same mistake again. So it was a denial point. I was still trying to keep the crewmates on the same thing. Also because I invested a lot of time in pushing a sort of like culture to a goal. So when we do events and we do shows, we have a timeline, we have a date. Okay, this is event day, right? So we build everything up leading to that event day. And 2020 was that sort of like event day for the company, because in 2014, you know, we had a big hit. We had a music festival that basically got cancelled, and we had to recoup our losses. So we were slowly earning money back and slowly paying off our suppliers and our debtors and our investors, and at the same time coming up with a plan of what we were going to do. You know, so at that point, we had Rockaway, which is one rock music festival that we launched, and it was supposed to happen in March. We had 3 It's the Ships that were set to be put out, and then we had an event, a fitness event called Move, that we was also supposed to launch, and it was all IP driven, and our brand activation component also had very strong clients at that point in time. So it was denial. It was denial that all of this was going to be wiped out, you know. So when the denial comes, I remember talking to people, and I was telling myself the lie that the virus will be gone. Like, oh, give me 1-2 weeks, you know, it'll be gone. You know, I mean, come on, lie. You know, how far have we come? You know, I was like almost like Donald Trump. You know, it's just a flu. You know, don't worry about it. You know, like the whole world can't collapse. You know what I mean? So you kind of telling yourself those kind of lies, and then you start choosing the news that you want to hear. So at that point in time, it was just straight up denial. It was straight up denial and knowing that it will come back. But I think one thing for sure was I felt the team did not understand the gravity of something like this, because the team that was there in 2014 when we had FMFA, and the team now, a lot of them are not around anymore. You know, a lot of them have gone off to do other things. I kind of made it a point to explain to everybody what coronavirus was and what it meant. And that was when we had our we were kind of instructed to go home, right? This is when, you know, I don't know if you remember that time where where there was a statement from the government, you know, it's like, oh, you know, everybody's got to go home the next day, you know. And I brought everybody to the front of the office, we had a TV there, and I played them a Vox video of what is coronavirus and how fast it transmits, so everybody has an idea of the seriousness. And as I was talking about it, I was making myself, I was basically being real with myself. You know what I mean? In the sense of whatever I said, whatever the denial state that I was in, whatever everything that we were kind of holding on to in terms of ensuring that Rockaway would happen and our ships would set sail in the 3 different countries, and launching our new fitness platform, that it kind of said that hey, you have to really consider that none of this is going to happen. You know, and it kind of had to be the moment where I was watching the Vox video for the 8th time, because I was watching it again and again to kind of decide if I should show this to the team and whether this would resonate with the team, whether the team would get it in terms of how important this was, and also the fact that the team was there, and the fact that we were there and we were here in the office, and so then it struck, and then it was when it was like, okay, now it is more on how are we going to survive, because we know, because I knew in myself that events is not going to happen, which is our number one money maker, the number one revenue source of this company, is vanished. Yeah.
Are you happy with where Livescape is now? After, I mean, I'm sure all companies adapted to a certain extent. I'm sure Livescape itself adapted. So are you happy where Livescape is going right now?
I am excited. So I'm excited. I think the last time I felt this kind of fire was when I was first trying to do FMFA. So when I was trying to do FMFA, I had this fire in me that nothing would stop me, because I kind of saw it. I kind of saw what the festival was going to be, and I kind of saw the impact it would have to the people here, and I kind of saw how it would change adoption of what music festivals was. I feel the same sort of excitement and the same sort of fire, and I also see how a lot of people in this company have now grown into leadership roles. That, to be honest, if Livescape stayed where it was, I don't think we would have seen that. We would have seen that sort of leadership qualities that we see today, and that kind of gives me a different sense that when I was doing FMFA, I still kind of felt I was alone, but I had this drive, and I was kind of selling the vision and the idea, and to get more people to come and join me. Whereas this time, it is we're all kind of in it, and we all kind of believe what we're doing, and we're all kind of doing it together. In the term of future-proofing the company, has kind of really like set the tone. Yeah.
Have you at any one point of time actually regretted, or maybe not regret per se, like you wish you had the whole Livescape back? Like perhaps that could have been better. I mean, you're always excited. Like, you know, sometimes I always know what could have been.
Yeah, correct. Last time I used to be a very, I do it, and then if I fail, I go and drown my sorrows with my close group of friends, and then I get over it, and then I get back out, and then I do it. And then when something as big as FMFA happened, I made it a once a year thing. So once a year, I would meet up with my close friends again, and I would meet up with people that were part of the festival, and you know, from our production guys and stage heads, anybody that was severely affected, because that really takes a toll on your mental health, you know, and kind of like get together, and you know, and then we would drown our sorrows together, and then as you snap back at it, and then you continue the whole year. So this time, the difference is what could have been. I would share it with this team, because this team knows what could have been, but we don't need to share it because we are talking about the future already. You know what I mean? So there's never been an instance with these guys where, oh, imagine if we did get our 3 ships up. Imagine if we did have rock, because right now we're all looking at the future projects that we're working on, and how these projects are viable. and how these projects will change the trajectory of where this company is heading, as a creative entity. Will the circles fail? I have no doubt there a few will, but it's because I kind of experienced it before, so I don't think I will have the same sort of like what if if it fail. In fact, now I look at it as it's my responsibility to guide the ones that now have the leadership roles, and to make sure that to them they don't fall into the same trap that I did, and know that there's always a silver lining and there's always something great that will come out of it, regardless what.
Being a leader for Livescape and being a pilot of the car, it's never easy. What pushes you? What motivates you every day to come out with the same energy that you walk in through the door, and that face that you put that says, what, let's get this done today. So what pushes you? What motivates you?
So what motivates me? What motivates me is actually seeing people grow. And seeing people come up with their perspectives and their ideas of a project that was born from this office, was born from Livescape. I think that is one of the biggest drivers, because the idea is no longer mine anymore. The idea is now shared. I think that's a big difference, because at that point when the idea was mine, even though you are my colleague, I'm trying to convince you that I have a good idea. Whereas now you are convinced that the idea is good as well. So now you are sharing your thoughts and how we can shape this baby together, and so I think that's the main driver, because whenever you get feedback from other people and stuff and they're working on their thoughts, you don't have the loneliness feeling that you have. A lot of leaders are lonely. It can be all nice and flash, but it's lonely. It's a lonely path. And that's why you need mentors. That's why you need a support system. That's why entrepreneurs happen to be more connected with other entrepreneurs, because they both understand the same feelings that you go through, which is not something that I can explain to a colleague. Colleague won't get it. You know what I mean? Until they feel it. You know what I mean?
If you were to choose just one festival or event that Livescape has done, what would it be? Just one. You can only pick just one.
It's the ship.
It's the ship.
Yeah, it's
Why?
the ship. I would pick It's the Ship because, from a business point of view, It's the Ship is actually quite sustainable in comparison to the mass festival market. So FMFA was kind of there in the right time, and we saw what 55,000 people can do. Did you see the unreleased footage?
I did. I went through
You
some.
went through it?
Some.
Fucking massive, right?
At that point of time, I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, fucking massive. Like I look at it and I'm just like, oh my god, 55,000 people. That's nuts. That's like, that is 55,000. That's a sea of people. You know what I mean?
That could have been one hell of the movie.
Yes, one hell of an after movie. Seriously, I still think we should do something. But anyways, so the flaws were, we were at the mercy of making sure that we had to continue to scale bigger. That means if so I bring Pharrell Williams down, I got to bring somebody bigger. You know what I mean? And with that means more budget, right? Sponsorship is only a certain amount of money. More festivals will pop up. Sponsors suddenly have options. I don't need to just sponsor one festival, and we could kind of see that as well, because as our capacities were going up, and our tourism sponsorship money was going up because we were hitting their KPIs, but the other sponsors were kind of stagnant, right? And when we saw that, and I can only see it like now once I've looked back. When you're in it, it's very difficult because fuck man, you sell 400, 500 tickets a day, right? You must be doing something right? But I didn't see it as being ultimately sustainable because you were a slave to the price of the artists, you were a slave to the limited amount of sponsorship, and then you have the same amount of people. You know what I mean? The same amount of people that you have to cater to, and we're talking 55,000 people, right? So you can only do so much in terms of making sure that that person had a great experience. You had to leave it to the artist to make sure that these guys walk out with a great experience. And I'm sure many artists do that. But with It's the Ship, the capacity is limited, so that's it. So you're 4,000, you're 4,000. The sponsorship numbers continue to increase year on year without fail because you're on international waters. So suddenly the sponsorship jurisdiction is a bit weird. You know what I mean? Because you've got the Singapore or Malaysia office, and then they are working with the duty-free guys, and they're seeing sales. So, and then you have a lot of other sponsors who want to come on board and join it because it's a experience. We are able to kind of custom fit the experience of a shipmate and make them see things that they would never experience at any music festival ever in the world. You know what I mean? And the artist prices were also capped because artist prices are usually based on capacity. So we were able to go to an artist that would normally cost $100,000 and say, we're only going to pay you $40,000 because we can't sell more tickets. Usually that's what the agent always says. You book my act, you're going to sell 10,000 more tickets. That's why I want $100,000. And then at the end of the day, the act's not selling the tickets. And you don't want to tell the agent that your show's not selling tickets. You know what I mean? But this one is like, look, we can only sell 4,000 tickets, so this is the price. And on top of that, the artist wants to come on the ship. And every act that comes on the ship has a damn good time. You know what I mean? So I saw that as being very sustainable, in the sense of we could feature editions. In fact, in 2020, we were supposed to feature a Halloween edition. It was the first time we were going to theme the entire fucking ship, and the ship had destinations we could go to where the people would change, and so if it was any festival that I could choose, I would hands down I would choose It's the Ship. And on top of that, It's the Ship was an idea that was born from Livescape, was born from the people at Livescape, and was born from a crazy idea, which is now we've got multiple crazy ideas, But yeah, but that's why I got a fire,
Do you have any special guests that you've wanted on the ship?
Special guests
that you've personally wanted?
Or
an artist, maybe.
So I thought Mr. Chow would be a damn cool captain.
Oh,
from The Hangover.
Huh.
Right, I thought he would be an awesome captain. He's more of an Asian represent. He's a funny guy, and sometimes when you see the Hangover, you like, oh, those guys must have been on the ship. You know what I mean? So I think Mr. Chow would have been a real good one. I was in Ibiza and I saw this DJ called Marco Corolla. So he's kind of like a dark techno sort of vibe, but he I don't know, he was able to kind of just get the crowd going, and what was beautiful about that club that was at was it had this roof, and the roof would open in sunrise. Yeah, so it would go all the way into the morning, and then people would stay on because they want to see the roof kind of open up, and this guy Marco Corolla was playing for it, and I always imagined if he could play on a sunrise set on It's the Ship and the same thing happens, right? But this time no roof. This time the sun is actually just like coming out, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it would be, I think that so the thing is, I don't even look at like favorite artists to watch. I look at like, what's the experience that artist is going to bring, you know what I mean? Or what iconic moment on the ship can we do with that act, you know what I mean? But yeah, we tried for Mr. Chow I think a few years ago, and then we couldn't because he had movie commitments. But we've tried The Rock. We tried to get, you know that?
No.
So we tried to get Dwayne Johnson to be the captain of the ship. This is before. Was it before Fast and Furious? I can't remember and we sent the inquiry, and the agent replied with a link, just a link, not hi, thank you for your offer. It's just a link. You click the link, and it was an article that says Dwayne Johnson is Hollywood's highest paid actor. Motherfucker, right? That was it. Just send a link. That's it.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, bro. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Yeah, just that, just one fucking link.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, and that was it lah. I mean, what do you say to that, right? Yeah.
Just leading on that,
Mm.
what's your worst promoter experience?
Worst promoter experience. I think
Or good, you know what? Let's start with a funny one first.
a funny
Something that still cracks you up till today.
Okay. FMFA 2012. So FMFA 2012, we were doing our first sort of like music festival, first time, right? We were doing it, it was just one day, right? But it was back to back because we obviously didn't have our shit together, so we were trying to get things up, we were trying to do stuff, blah blah whatnot, and I came back extremely tired, and the next day is the show. I came back as like just like you just want to go and just knock out, right? And I came back and I saw this guy who is from a band called the Wombats, and he was right outside the hotel lobby, and he was in a full blown like golf outfit, like with the hat and the golf thing or whatever, It's like so just like just more like, oh hey, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm going to go and play golf. Like it's like 12 o'clock at night, like 12 or 1 o'clock, That's like, you're gonna go play golf? He said, yeah. I asked one of the people, so he asked somebody from Livescape, and he said like, oh, I want to go play golf, and that fellow was like, yeah, sure. And then he's out there waiting for his like pickup to go bring him to a fucking golfing range. So I was so tired. I was just like, and I just went to my room to sleep, right? The next day I woke up, I bumped into him, and he was like, hey man, thanks so much for the golf thing. So someone, and until today, I don't know who, so if any one of you guys actually did it, FMFA 2012, thank you, opened up the fucking golf course for him lah. Someone opened up the golf course for him so he could go and play.
Oh shit.
And he went to play golf.
Alone?
And like alone at 12. I don't know how many holes this guy did. At 12 to 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the guy had to wait for him and bring him back. Yeah, and I'm so sorry because it was such a mess in 2012, right? But one champion did it lah. One champion took this guy. So in 2012, so that was one, which was, I mean, it still cracks me up until today because somebody opened up a golf course for him in the middle of the night for this guy to go and play. The second one that was really funny was in 2012 when so that one was the day before, right? So this is right now we're done with the show. So we're done with the show, and we all get back to the hotel. Right, so we all get back to the hotel, we're done with the show, and there was a presidential suite. And the presidential suite was where we threw the artist after party. So all the artists were there, and they were all having a good time. And for a lot of these artists, they just finished the 2-week tour in Australia. So this was kind of like a celebration, like they're done with the tour. It's sort of the last time they kind of seeing everyone before everybody flies back on their own. So I went to my room, showered, and I went to the presidential suite, but I was gone, like tired, like deadbeat. And I went, and the Chemical Brothers have their manager, and their manager's name is Alex Nightingale. That's his name. Okay, his name's Alex Nightingale. So he was there, right? Because Chemical Brothers was our headliner. So he was there, and he was chit-chatting around, and just chit-chatting, talking. And then I passed out. And I passed out of tiredness. And I woke up, and it was maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of people have left, but Alex Nightingale was still there. And he was still there, and he was chatting with somebody else. And he had not slept, and he was still talking. And I got up, and I was like, oh my god, this guy is still talking. And literally, our Future Music Festival business partner, I went to go and find him. And I told Jason, like, his name is Jason, so I told Jason, like, hey, it's Alex Nightingale, it's still at the presidential suites after party, and he's still talking to random people if you don't know who these people are. And Jason was like, oh yeah, Alex is like that. He will just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. I was like, oh, okay. When I showered, went down for breakfast with all the artists, and as we were leaving, so Alex Nightingale was still talking to somebody else in the lift coming down. And we literally like, okay, turn the other way. You know what I mean? Turn the other way and go, because we just didn't want to talk lah, We're tired, we're all tired. And then we walked the Chemical Brothers out to their car because the car was going to take them to the airport. So we walked them to the car with Alex Nightingale, the manager, and so part of us is like, okay, headliner is going off, so part of us are like, okay, we can breathe a sigh of relief because he's there, the main act, they're going off. Okay, bye, take care. Oh. And then Alex Nightingale stands up and goes, hey, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to stay. And he tells the Chems to go and fly back on their own. And he walked back into the hotel, and we were like, holy shit, this guy still wants to talk. And he just we just went our separate ways. But Alex Nightingale,
guy can talk.
He can talk. He can talk a lot. And you meet him, and he's got a ton of stories. He's got a very funny story. Katy Perry, he's got a lot of funny stories. But he's he just talks. And I remember I remember glimmers of that presidential suite after party, And I was like very tired, and I think I dozed off on the sofa. Then I woke up, and every time I wake up, I keep seeing him. I woke up and he's talking to someone. I wake up, he's talking to Rahul. I wake up, he's talking to her. He's just always talking to someone. And then the next day I woke up, he's still talking to someone. And then I go there and eat, he's still talking to somebody else. You know what I mean? It's just the guy can talk and talk and talk. Alex Nightingale. Yeah, but those are. Look, there are tons of it, In fact, I spoke with a bunch of promoters in Southeast Asia during the pandemic, and we were all like, we should all write a book, write a book of all the funny shit and all the nightmarish stuff, and then just publish it, and all proceeds go to the creative industry. Then people kind of lost their jobs, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Worst.
Okay. The worst promoters.
Worst experience.
One really bad experience.
One really bad.
There are a lot. One really bad experience. See, the problem with really bad experiences is I can't name people. I can't name artists. I can't name agents. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, bad experience. I can. A bit difficult for me to tell you
Without saying the name.
Without saying the name,
Yeah.
because the more I say the name of the artist, for instance, then you all be like, oh shit, I get it. You know what I mean? Fuck it lah. Okay, Flow Rider. So I think Flow Rider was one of the worst experiences that we've had. Because first he was a total fucking douchebag, and he's still a douchebag. No matter what you say, he's a fucking douchebag. Second was when we booked him and he came to the hotel. He insisted on the presidential suite. The problem was he was coming in 4 hours, doing the show, and chowing for his next show, right? So we were like, we're not going to spend, 12,000 ringgit and give you a presidential suite if you're going to be here for 4 hours. So we just got him a suite. And I told the artist liaison, just tell him the presidential suite is taken up lah, because he insisted in the hotel. So okay, okay. So he came and he went in and he was like, this is not the presidential suite that I asked for. And he was like, oh, well, presidential suite's taken. And he went, really? He went and called the reception and said, can I get an upgrade to the presidential suite? No problem, Mr. Flow Rider. So he went up. So that was the first thing we did. I was like, motherfucker. So he went up. Then after that, 45 minutes before his show, he was not ready. Normal lah, artist and the shit like, oh no, I still want to shower lah, I want to oil my hand, my arms lah, I don't know what lah this guy's trying to do. And then he asked for a dozen dethroned roses. A dozen dethroned roses, and you have to remember, we were in, this festival's in KLIA. The fuck's that, a florist, man, you know what I mean? And he wanted a dozen dethroned roses at his show so he could give it to the girls on the show. So we had to go and find a dozen dethroned roses and get him ready and get his 45 minutes and get him on the fucking place so he could give his roses to girls so that he could try and get one of them to come back with him in his 4-hour layover in the presidential suite. What the flying fuck, man? You know what I mean? Yeah, so it was yeah, there's one. That's one. Second one would be, I mean, these are artists lah, As a second one, I think would be Sum 41. I think Sum 41 was also one. So we did it for Rockaway, and it was a really good show. we kind of had everybody kind of rallied and riled up and and ready. And I still remember like some of the Rockaway fans, they were waiting for Sum 41 to come out, and these guys were literally kneeling down and tying their shoelaces, and they're tying their shoelaces like that, getting ready to like get into the mosh pit, and I saw that, I was like, holy shit, told security, hey, this fella got like steel toe boots, he's tying his shoelace properly, I don't know what's going to happen, and then the band wasn't coming out. Yeah, so the band just wasn't coming out. Like, they weren't coming out, and I remember that Rahul was dealing with it, and I went to the back and I was like, what's going on? And Rahul was like, these guys just don't want to come out. And then and he was obviously frustrated about it. So I went to the back, and if I remember correctly, I went to the back and they just asked the artist liaison there at that point in time. It was Atif, because it was Atif would have slept already. For Indian food. Like, to order Indian food. And the crowd outside is going, Psalm 41, Psalm 41, Psalm 41. And they were like, hey, can we get some Indian food? You know what I mean? And you have this like look of shock on the entire team that has worked so hard to provide a fucking vegetarian spread for these guys because they're vegan. Untitled Chapter wants Indian food. And this is not like post show get some Indian food, This is like the crowd is waiting for you. It's time for you to go. And they want Indian food. So I think at that point the frustration level had hit an all-time high because the band wasn't exactly easy to deal with from the moment they arrived. So it kind of like already hit that thing where so a lot of times where you try to deal with the artists and their eclecticness or their uniqueness or their weirdness, because we try to put ourselves in their shoes. They've been touring a lot. They're tired. The guy wanted to go and play golf. I mean, it's look, he may not see anything wrong with it. I mean, this guy's been touring and he likes golf. I mean, so we always try to see it from their perspective. But I couldn't see anything for these guys. I couldn't see the need to go and order Indian food when you have your fans outside screaming your name waiting. I think it's just a way of basking your ego. So we kind of went out there and and basically I was the bad guy, and literally went and said, I'm very sorry, no Indian food. Your spread is here. We have a timeline, like by 12, no more show because our permits until 12. You have to go out there and play, and if you don't go out there and play, we will tell them that you guys don't want to come out and play because you want Indian food, and we will not pay your agent. You know what I mean? And then there's like a silence, and then I was asked obviously to walk out. And I had a very, very angry manager that came out and basically like, I had it handled and blah, blah. And I was like, fuck, you can't handle shit. If you handle shit, it would have been out there already, right? And eventually they did go out. But even when they did go out, and again, as promoters, we know what happens behind the scenes and so sometimes fans, they are very happy to just see their favorite act out, that they're willing to ignore a lot of the other things, But I didn't think they put on the best show, and I think that they didn't put on the best show also purposely, like you use the contract word, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. So like it's like so imagine like I don't know, a singer has a flu, and suddenly I go like, I don't care whether you got a flu or not, you got a contract, get on there and perform. If not, I'm not paying you. Obviously, you feel a bit offended and angry. So they kind of went out there and just did the show because they kind of had to, and it kind of ruined the whole like mood and everything. So I asked myself, like, if I didn't go, what would have happened? Well, this is what would have happened, and maybe this is what the band wanted. It would have probably been another 20 minutes or half an hour. They would have gotten their Rogan Gosh or shish kebab or whatever Indian food these fellas were ordering. But we had a bite or two and then say, okay, let's play, go and perform. And then authorities will come and say that you need to close the thing. And then they would say, no, we want to continue. And it would have been an epic Sum 41 sort of like show Like, you know what I mean? You know, sometimes I think to myself like, oh, maybe that's what they wanted to do. They wanted the, you know, Sum 41 is still playing, the authorities are out there trying to close it, and the guy with the steel toe boots is like fucking kicking the cops or some shit. And it probably would have been an epic way to end the show, but it obviously wouldn't have looked good on us as promoters, you know.
So what do you think is the dark side of the event industry?
I think that's a good one. The dark side of the event industry is there are multiple facets from it. One is that a lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons. So a lot of people get into the events industry because they think that it is glamorous to a certain extent, and usually those are the people that fold first. And then that kind of spikes the market because you have like the old timers who've been around for a long time, and then you have the new boys. Let's say, I don't know whether I'm still new lah, you know, but then you have the new boys that come in, and then you have these other guys who come in for sort of like because they think it's glamorous, you know, and then the glamorous guys spike the market because they offer ridiculous prices for artists that affect the rice bowl of the old timers and affect the rice bowl of the new guys, you know. So that's one, because then that becomes very almost backstage-ish, you know. But we've set to change that in Malaysia. We have an NGO called Alive, and it's kind of like unifying the entire events industry. So that's one. The second thing that's dark, that's the dark side of the industry is it's very difficult to be accepted as a promoter, or as an event organizer in the grand scheme of things. So even like when I told my father that I wanted to be an event organizer and I was going to do this, it was looked like, oh, you failed your degree, you know. You know what I mean? You know, or it wasn't looked like as a nice job. You know what I mean? So that kind of strikes. The third is that people may not know this, but event management is one of the highest stress jobs in the world. It's like top 5. I think number 1 is like a surgeon or something like that. You know what I mean? But number 5 is suddenly event organizer. Like, huh? You know, because it is very high stress. But with that comes its effects. So when we don't know how to handle the stress, we resort to drugs and alcohol, you know, or other mediums to basically elevate that stress. You know, that's common. You know, and mental health becomes issues because it's challenging. Because when you're a promoter, when you're an event organizer, a lot of times the project falls in your hands or your responsibility, and therefore when the project fails, it also you feel you are accountable for it, and that takes a very big toll. And a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of that until it happens. You know what I mean? Like I don't know whether Amanda has had an event that she has done before that, you know, she fucked up. You know what I mean? But I'm sure she has, you know, and I'm sure that someone else in Livescape has come in to help and cover it up to the client or whatever and all that kind of stuff. But it would take a huge toll on her as an individual because it was her responsibility to get it done. Maybe your 9-to-5 job is kind of always different. It's always changing, which means the consequences are also a lot higher. Yeah, I think those would be like the 3 sort of like main things. It's like basically industry not jiving with each other. Because again, the old guns and the new guys. I mean, our mistakes also is we're not sort of like welcoming, you know, to new people that come in. It makes those guys want to kind of prove themselves, and also sometimes they may have the wrong mindset where they think it's a glamorous job, and then they realize that, oh shit, no, this is not what I want, and they can easily just like cabut. So that's not healthy because, you know, you keep having new players that come in that don't get it. You know what I mean? But on our side, we're not welcoming these guys or educating these guys as well. The second part would be the association, because it's such a high stress, and the association with it's a dark association, like, you know, how people handle those stress, like, you know. I can't remember the third one.
I mean, people wouldn't know what goes behind, right? Or is it like, I mean, maybe for a common man, it could be like, you know what, it's a downfall, and then they're just going to continue making other events. But I'm pretty sure that you yourself must have took a huge downfall from it.
Yeah, I mean, the downfall from FMFA is from a personal level is massive, because not only do you have the team that you feel that you let down, even though the Livescape team was definitely there for me and was definitely kind of like, and then I felt that I needed to shoulder them, because these guys also were feeling down, but from a personal level, I got hate messages. My number was being spread around. I was getting random text messages. I haven't changed my number until today, by the way, because I've just kept my number. Just come and face the music lah. I was branded by the press. Some of the press people come to me and say, sorry, we need to sell papers, and that hurts you even more. like okay, so you're branded the devil. Shunned away from government, shunned away from sponsors, shunned away from corporates, and then the after effects of that. It means, if I ask the client, can I have a meeting? The client's like, probably not. It's too hot right now. You know what I mean? So the echo of that is even worse. And you need to have, like my wife, she's been a very, very strong pillar. In terms of helping me get through that, my parents were also strong, but you have aspects where I was even asked to like change my name, that heavy, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I think you can definitely relate it to that, in the sense of like in the grand scheme of things.
You recently did a one-man protest.
Yeah.
What's your whole thought process behind it? Like out of nowhere, just going up to night market and...
I think it dealt with a lot of frustration. So a lot of frustration because we were trying to, they're trying to go through proper channels and trying to get the events industry back up. So as part of the live, we went and we spoke to multiple different government agencies to try and get events back up. And we were looked at as non-essential. We were looked at, just the creative industry as a whole, we were looked at as like, you're a videographer, right? In the government, they think that is your side job, So if you went there and you said, oh yeah, hi, I'm Chrissy, I'm a videographer, they'll say, oh, you're a videographer, okay, but full time what you do? You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't get it. You're a singer. Oh, okay. Tapi during the day you are what? You a clerk. So it was ridiculous. It's this whole ping pong back and forth. And at the same time we have businesses like folding and dying and then there was this guy by the name of DJ Elvis, right? So friends sent me a link, and I looked at it, and it was just this guy called DJ Elvis, and he did a one-man protest, and I immediately saw the relevance of it, and I immediately saw how this would definitely make sense. So I actually texted him, and his story is fascinating. He was a mechanic. He was a mechanic, really liked DJing, took it as a hobby, became a DJ, and was DJing for functions, and he loved what he was doing. And by the way, his name is Elvis. Like really, it's not his DJ name. His name is Elvis. Ooh. Yeah, his name is Elvis, and he did not know who Elvis Presley was. When I asked him, like, you know Elvis Presley, huh? And and he was like, huh? Who's Elvis Presley? I'm like, oh my god! So his parents named him Elvis. Yeah. Well, power. So, and this guy basically took matters into his own hands. Obviously, unknowingly, what we were trying to do, we tried to get things up. And I asked him, like, can I do it too? And he was like, yeah, but you do yourself. Do your own. Now don't come with me. Because must be one-man protest. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I totally get it. But I said, can I do it too? And he was like, yeah, So I took the rein from him, and then I went out and I started doing it. And I started doing it every single day, right? In terms of just trying to get the kind of awareness out there about the fact that Pasar Malam is essentially an event. Mm-hmm. Pasar Malam can open, why can't we open, you know what I mean? Because that was the most blatant way to kind of like explain to the powers that be that, if you say the Pasar Malam guy, this is his life, right? And you need to open the pasar malam so this guy can sell clothes or sell whatever. This is my life, you know, and yet you are letting them happen, but you're letting me happen because you think I'm non-essential, you know. Yeah, so that kind of sparked it, and I went into a bit of a wave, and then there were people doing one-man protest in Penang lah, there were people doing one-man protest in other states, and
You went viral. You went viral.
yeah, you know. So I'm happy that it got the it happened in the sense of it got the message out. You know what I mean? Because now if you hear one-man protest, you hear, okay, what is it? And then it's about events, and then people see the relevance, and you know, and so now even now, if at any one time, so now the government will go, if at any one time we have a lockdown again, and if economies need to open, they're gonna think twice before they open the pasar malam first. They don't open the event, guys. You know what I mean? And at least that's kind of done its message lah, you know.
It's cool because like it's nice because even if you just posted it, I like how it's a little touch that you say, you know, this fried chicken was good.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, you can read the comments. It first started off as like you really like what you're doing to the point where the food is good.
Yeah, the food was good because man, Taman Mega, man, oh my god, power, man. Yeah, food is damn good, you know. And I love pasar malam, you know what I mean?
I mean, at this rate of where we are headed right now, where do you think the future is for live events industry? I mean, no matter with the vaccine or no vaccine, everything has changed.
Yes.
I mean, events are not going to be the same anymore.
Yes.
So where do you think the future is now, or the future will be?
I think the future is intimate. I think events are not going to get the scale of what it used to be for at least another 2 years. I hope I'm wrong, you know, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think the next time you want to fly to Korea for an ultra music festival, it's not going to be as easy, you know, and you would think of a few times because your flight ticket is going to be damn expensive. Your accommodations are going to be damn expensive. You know, the market recovery is going to be very different. So during that time when the market is recovering, I think events are going to be more intimate. And events are going to be more intimate. You're going to be dealing with 50, 100, you know, 300 packs maybe, you know. And it's an opportunity for event organizers to really deliver an experience and show them like, you know, this is an experience and how you experience live events still with the challenges and the barriers kind of put with you, you know. And you kind of see that now already, you know. Briefs are coming in and clients are also very wary in terms of to what scale or to what extent they want to do it. I think whoever who turned 18 in 2020, sorry, sucks to be you, you know what I mean? Because for like 18, 19, 20, like for 3 years, which is like your prime sort of like your prime time to enjoy it, you're not going to, you know, and that sucks, you know. I think I hate the idea of live streaming concerts. You know, I understand why it was relevant and why people needed to do it. You know, but even now it's gone down. You know what I mean? You don't see many. I don't know, Justin Bieber live stream event. You know what I mean? Buy a ticket, right? You know, you don't see them because people are sick of this. You know what I mean? People want to go and see the show.
The experience is different.
Experience is different. You know, it will fast track a lot of different things, a lot of like hybrid shows, and a lot of people try to do something else, but nothing beats a live experience, you know. So I think the live events will be intimate, and it will be a good opportunity for the industry to reset, you know, because suddenly you can't go on a bidding war for Dua Lipa because you don't know how many tickets you can sell. You know, because your capacities are limited, you know. Dua Lipa will have to accept that as well if she wanted to come and perform here. So it kind of resets a whole bunch of stuff. And now it's taking the opportunity to reset, to make sure that the legacy from now till the future of live events doesn't go down the same sort of hole they went down, you know. Get people a bit more educated, you know. So like I'm waiting for 5 years from now someone to come up and go, hey, I want to do a future music festival in Malaysia, and is able to do that because people are a lot more educated about how I should be behaving at a music festival, and I should not be consuming drugs at a music festival, overdosing on it, and that would become a healthy thing for environment for the scene, because you get to bring it up, you know what I mean?
Education. Would you say that the event industry is lacking of education? Of educating people the right way of how to run a proper music event? Live event.
Yeah, So now it's kind of changed a bit because clients now do not want to go to company Abu anymore, because last time they used to compare us to company Abu. Oh, your fee is 30,000 ringgit, but company Abu fee is 2,000 ringgit, And then we used to go, okay lah, go with Abu lah, And then they go with Abu, and obviously the events are. But now Abu doesn't exist, because Abu's gone, And then the other ones, the brands would rather work with reputable companies, right? And because we've been able to stay here this long, and we are kind of educated, but it's our responsibility to make sure that the new Abu that comes up and says, "Hey, I want to start an event company," to have the necessary tools to make sure that when you do a show, you do it correctly. I think there are just a few basic things that are lacking when it comes to events, but it's also because I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm honest about it. You know what I mean? And then I want to learn. So a lot of other people from events is they act like they know what they're doing, but then they're not. They don't. And in terms of that part, if people are a bit more honest and people are a bit more willing to know and willing to learn, and people are willing to teach, then I can see your point in terms of But currently, it's like I don't even know what you don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if I was talking to a rigger and the rigger was telling me like, oh, this thing is 2.4 meter or whatever, I don't know. I will go, I don't know what you're talking about. But if you put another person, that person go, oh yeah, 2.4. Okay, I understand. But the guy don't know what he doesn't know. Because he's just, events ma. I need to know these things.
It's like a facade.
It's a facade. You know what I mean?
When people say Iqbal Ameer, you're mostly known as a face of live events here. Have you ever feel pressured to keep up that name?
Yeah, so in 2020, yes. 2020, I felt it was a responsibility to work with the industry or work and try to get sort of like things back up and things back and running and whatever. And also because Livescape, it's Livescape's Riseable, and at that point in time, I was like, oh, who am I without Livescape? And I need to kind of like make sure that we get through this, get through it together. But now, if you ask me in 2021, do I feel like I need to keep it up? I'm slowly being okay with not being that person anymore because of where Livescape's kind of going next. It's sort of like, do I know how to do a damn good show? Yes, I do. Do I need to keep doing it? I don't. You know what I mean? But I know how to do it, So like, has Livescape pulled off one of the biggest music festivals in Southeast Asia before? Yeah. Have we pulled off one of the biggest rock shows in Malaysia before? Yeah. Have we done a music festival on a cruise ship before? Yeah. And I kind of feel that almost like a bucket list. You know what I mean? Not trying to sound cocky, but it's just more like, we've done a lot of things that
been there, done it.
Been there, done that, and then now we are venturing into new territory where events will play an integral role into what we do next. You know what I mean? But it's sort of like not the main focus anymore. But and I'm excited about that because then there was this thing that I was trying to say last time, and I remember this that we were trying to build the circles and Livescape, because we were pivoting and we were trying to figure things out. We started with, okay, you want to do a show? We announce the show, we sell tickets, marketing, sponsorship, blah, 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 blah. We do the event. Event finish? Okay lah, tutup lah. Okay, find the next show. Right? And that's just the cycle, right? And then from there, we kind of upgraded to IP. Okay, we do It's the Shit. We do FMFA. Every year we do it once. Okay, and then we build. And then the same thing, we announce the show, we sell tickets, we get sponsorship. So this is our money. This is how we monetize. And then we do the show. We sure everybody has a good time. Now it's like, this is what we're doing. So this thing is not 6 months before the show. This thing is 24/7 now. And this thing is 24/7, and the shows, it's like marketing of this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's marketing the community, and it means Livescape suddenly can do shows that we like. You know what I mean? Because it's marketing. We can do really cool, totally left field shows. We can do, you know, and because we know that the monetization is actually from this, from the community that we're doing, you know, and that's what excites me, because then we can really do like some weird stuff, which is kind of like what we want to do lah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So the freedom to do what you want instead of
kind of you get the freedom to do what you want, and you really and you get to bring up local talent at the same time, and you know, and you get to bring up the industry standard at the same time.
Is there an event that you wanted to do personally, or you can do an event, no scale, no budget, nothing? What would it be?
So it would be a secret cinema-ish kind of event. So I'm a big fan of secret cinema. So I mean, I've been 3 times for 3 different experiences, and it would be a secret cinema-ish type of event, because as a kid, pop culture, it was very important to me. You know, I kind of use that as like my form of escapism, so I was immersed in those worlds, you know, and I still do it until tonight. Every night I still read my comic book before I go to sleep, because I kind of get immersed in that world. So yeah, that would be my thing. I would kind of like build a like a secret cinema-ish kind of thing, and I would combine it with fantastic artists that resonate with the thing, you know. It would be a secret cinema-ish kind of show. Yeah. Did Atif tell you about his secret cinema experience?
No.
So I brought the champion with me for secret cinema when we went for an agent run. So agent run is basically we meet all the agents and just say, hey, we're alive, but then we do some business together. And it happened to be in London, and there was a secret cinema that was happening, which was Star Wars. So fuck lah, Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm like, let's go for it. You got to dress up for it and everything. So I went with this champion, Atif.
He dressed up too?
He dressed up also. You have to. You have to. So he dressed up. I think I was a galactic council member or something, you know, and then I can't remember what Atif was. And then we get to the front of the Star Wars secret cinema. We're about to go in, right? So okay, short tickets, okay, alright, go in. Then and then you go in, and you have to go through this tunnel. And the story is they're smuggling you, and they smuggle you into Tatooine, right? Which is A New Hope. Star Wars A New Hope, the first scene, which is the desert island. You go in, and you really feel you are fucking in Tatooine, like seriously, because you got the characters, you got everything is there. And I'm looking like this lah, from left to right. So I'm looking, oh my god, Star Wars, and then I look at Atif, and Atif is confused, Atif is scared, Atif is fearful. He's got so many of these expressions in his face. I look at him, are you stoned? And he's like, yeah bro. I was like, oh my god. So this guy went into secret cinema, baked, completely stoned, and it was just Star Wars. And he was so stoned, he was like, hey, come on man, we gotta go here. I was like, oh, I'm scared man, I'm scared. You know, cause you see like characters, you know, like you know, Star Wars characters lah, you know, there's the fucking Jabba the Hutt lah, you know, he's like, oh my god, you know.